The fact that a Japanese product offers the most American experience is really paradoxical in a market that is dominated by domestic businesses. The most conventional and uncomplicated mid-size pickup truck on the market is the Nissan Frontier, which has a body-on-frame chassis, a strong naturally aspirated V6 engine, and an affordable pricing. Notwithstanding its straightforwardness and simplicity, this truck has a few unnoticed defects, some of which might be deal-breakers for you. That being said, let's get right to the 5 issues you should be aware of with the Nissan Frontier. Number 5. An outdated interior. Let's face it, most mid-size pickup vehicles didn't prioritize sleek contemporary cabins until lately. Ergonomics and durability were the top priorities. But as these trucks have grown in popularity, the interiors have improved and even become somewhat opulent. Regretfully, this trend was not followed by the Nissan Frontier, whose cabin feels more like it belongs in the early 2010s than the mid-2020s. To be fair, the Frontier has most of the amenities you would expect from a modern truck, but the design seems haphazardly put together with little regard for refinement or aesthetics. Consider the steering wheel, which lacks the clean shapes found in modern cars and instead has rounded, soft lines evocative of vintage Infiniti and Nissan automobiles from the late 2000s. Additionally, compared to rival vehicles like the Ford Ranger, GMC Canyon, and Toyota Tacoma, all of which have more soft-touch surfaces and better quality plastics, making their cabins quieter and less squeaky, the overall material quality is subpar. Better technology and a little more modern design make the 2025 redesign a little better, but it's more of a surface-level update than a complete makeover. The Frontier nevertheless lags behind its competitors in terms of interior quality because many of the modifications are merely overlays on the original design. Even while it's not a huge leap, it's still a positive step. Number 4. Low towing capacity. The relatively low towing capability of an otherwise conventional vehicle is one of its main drawbacks. Even with a powerful 3.8-liter V6 engine that produces 310 horsepower without the need for a turbocharger, the Nissan Frontier is lacking in key areas. Sadly, it doesn't perform as well as the Ford Ranger's 2.3-liter EcoBoost base engine, which is what you would anticipate. The Ranger can tow 7,500 pounds, which is a great amount for a mid-sized truck, whereas the Frontier can only haul 6,690 pounds, which is around 810 pounds less. It may not seem like much, but this differential is really among the lowest towing capacity in its class. The Jeep Gladiator weighs 7,650 pounds, while the GMC Canyon and Chevrolet Colorado can tow up to 7,700 pounds. The Toyota Tacoma, which can tow 6,500 pounds, is only marginally superior to the Frontier. Furthermore, even though the Honda Ridgeline weighs 5,000 pounds more than the other vehicle, it is a unibody truck, so there is no direct comparison. Thankfully, this problem has been somewhat resolved in the 2025 makeover. The Frontier considerably reduces the difference with a new maximum towing capacity of 7,150 pounds, but it still falls short of its American rivals. Number 3. Not very roomy. Apart from its subpar construction, the Nissan Frontier's cabin is also lacking in spaciousness, particularly in the back. We're referring to the crew cab version here, not the extended cab, which naturally has less space. The Frontier's 32.6-inch rear legroom is an inch smaller than that of the Toyota Tacoma and 2 inches less than that of the Ford Ranger and Chevy Colorado. However, with an astounding 38.3 inches of rear legroom, the Jeep Gladiator dominates this class, leaving the Frontier well behind. To put it in perspective, considering the Frontier's somewhat greater size, it is extremely disheartening to have a mid-sized truck with less legroom than a Toyota Yaris. Additionally, headroom isn't much better. It's respectable at 38.3 inches, but you can see how claustrophobic it might seem, especially for taller folks, when you compare it to a Toyota RAV4, which has more than an inch larger. An extra inch can make all the difference in circumstances like these. However, the Frontier's cabin should have enough room if you're mostly flying with kids or shorter people. However, it might feel a little cramped for those who are used to a more spacious cabin, especially grown-ups occupying the back seats. Number 2. Terrible resale value. Regretfully for Nissan, the Frontier lacks the appeal of its primary competitors even if it is a competent pickup truck. The truth is that most consumers view the Frontier as an alternative rather than a top pick, even though we adore it despite its shortcomings. Over time, trucks with more comprehensive packages, such as the Ford Ranger and Toyota Tacoma, become much more appealing. For example, the Tacoma's coil spring rear suspension enhances both ride quality and stiffness, making it a more pleasant and enjoyable vehicle to drive on-road as well as an excellent off-road vehicle. Despite having a smaller inline-4 engine, the Ford Ranger nonetheless exudes the quintessential American spirit. It can even be fitted with a V6, albeit with twin turbos, which would provide greater power and improved fuel economy. Compared to the Frontier, the Tacoma and Ranger feel more contemporary and well-built. The Nissan Frontier struggles to be a good off-road vehicle and a good on-road workhorse, but it isn't very good at either, and let's face it, if you were to describe your vehicle to others, would you prefer to state that you drove a Frontier, Tacoma, or Ranger? There's always the feeling that you could have gotten a better car by working a little harder. The Frontier's low resale value is a direct result of its lack of appeal. It depreciates quickly, so you will be selling it for many $1,000s less than you would for a Tacoma in a few years. The 2025 Frontier still lags behind despite its upgrades, and its resale value is still a significant disadvantage. Number 1. Pricing. Totally out of control. In the past, the Nissan Frontier's incredibly low starting price gave it a distinct edge over its competitors. Compared to the base inline-4 models of its rivals, a V6-powered pickup could be purchased for less than $32,000. However, in comparison to its competitors, the Frontier's pricing has become mediocre with the redesign. With an extended cab, the base S model now costs little more than $33,500, and the crew cab option makes it even more costly than the standard Ford Ranger. As we've spoken about, the Ranger is still a more capable car even if it has a 4-cylinder engine. The Chevy Colorado, which offers good off-road capabilities, good all-around performance, and a more contemporary package, inside and out, for a comparable price, has also weakened the Frontier's entry-level value offering. But the Frontier starts to make sense until you go up the trim levels. The Pro X trim, which offers several features that surpass those of its competitors, becomes a superb deal around $40,000. The top-tier SL and Pro 4X versions offer respectable on-road performance together with strong off-road capabilities. They may not be as refined or as capable off-road as the Tacoma Limited or the Tacoma TRD off-road, but they are significantly less expensive. The SL trim, for instance, is around $10,000 less expensive than the Tacoma Limited. However, the Frontier is difficult to sell to people who don't want to maintain a car for a long time due to its low resale value and lack of attractiveness. However, the higher-end Frontier trims provide excellent value for the money if you're searching for a truck that you'll own for years or even decades.